you might be able to run down the hall and find a white pistol and shoot ninja in time. But I mean, like, in general, you can't just kill somebody if you don't have a gun, you know? And that's the reality that Rust teaches you very, 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 very well. And survival in the real world is the exact same thing. So, I mean, like, you know, why would you go to Alaska?
Bus. And tragically, as I'm sure most of us know, this marked the beginning of the end for McCandless, and by the time August was over, he was dead.
He died in the summer in Alaska, like it was like half a mile from a 7-Eleven.
McCandless's story would go on to be told in the popular book Into the Wild by John Krakauer, which was later adapted into a movie under the same name, and it was also...
Yeah, so now, John Krakauer's work, Into the Wild, is fucking amazing, and I would recommend it to anybody. But fuck Christopher McCandless. I wouldn't recommend him to anybody but scrub losers who like to die out in the wilderness day one, you know?
Countless articles, documentaries, and later on, YouTube videos. The story of Chris McCandless has become so popular that I'm not even gonna tell you the rest of his story in this video. Instead, we're gonna start by focusing...
Christopher McCandless made the Sigma approach, but he didn't have the Sigma skills. And that gets you killed.
Why his story has resonated so strong.
If you're Tom Brown, you can walk out into the Alaska wilderness with nothing but a rifle and a backpack. You can't do that if you're Christopher McCandless.
With people, and then we're going to get into the deaths that have come in its aftermath. But before we get too far into these more disturbing details, I'd like to keep things light for just a moment and tell you about Holzkern. That's right, Holzkern is the sponsor of this video. They are an Austrian company that makes watches, jewelry, and other accessories for both men and women. And I mean, just look at this beautiful, beautiful watch. This one is called Space Dust. It's made from walnut and marble. And I mean, look guys, I've never really been known for my sense of fashion, but with this Holzkern watch, I think I look pretty good. But perhaps more importantly, my girlfriend thinks I look good with it, and so I don't know, I think you're gonna look good with their products too. Beyond this beautiful watch, Holzkern has over 1,000 products, including handbags, sunglasses, jewelry, and so much more, over 1,000. All their products use natural materials and are FSC certified as well. And let's also not forget that they offer free express shipping worldwide, and they'll cover any customs fees for you as well. Go get yourself one of Holzkern's beautiful pieces by clicking the link at the top of the description or by scanning the QR code on the screen right now. And by the way, Holzkern was nice enough to offer you, my audience, an exclusive 15% off your order when you use code Kyle at checkout. You'll also be doing this channel a massive favor, by the way, when you click that link and support our sponsors. It helps so much. So one more time, go click the link or scan the QR code and get yourself 15% off Holzkern's awesome products. And with that said, let's now get back to discussing why the hell people were so captivated by Chris McCandless' story in the first place. So it's difficult to sum this up coherently, I'll be honest, but I think we can probably all see the romantic appeal of just dropping everything and heading off into the wild, right? On the surface, this sounds so freeing and so simple. You don't have to worry about bills, deadlines, politics, or even what society thinks of you as a whole. I think that when things get tough and when people feel, I don't know, stuck in their current place in life, it's easy to fantasize about just up and leaving it all behind. And yet 99.999% of people who have this fantasy don't actually act on it, obviously. Chris McCandless, however, was in the tiny minority of people who actually did go out there and start a new life, traveling around and eventually living off the land. Now, I know the full story behind his decision-making and what he ended up doing is obviously a lot more complicated than I've made it sound like here, but I don't know, I think that McCandless found such a solid place in our culture, you could say, because he did what so many of us only dream of doing. And though he ended up dying in the process, I almost feel like that adds to the allure of his story. Like, he died doing what he loved and what we all a lot of us anyways, I'll say, fantasize about doing. At least that's how some people view this story. A lot of other people, including many of those who live in Alaska itself, have a very different view on McCandless and his pilgrimage. Many of these people would tell you that he was reckless at best and just plain stupid at worst. They'll point out the fact that he was woefully unprepared when he set out into the Alaskan wilderness. They'll accuse him of breaking into cabins and stealing food and possessions from locals in the area. They'll remind you that before he came to Alaska, he was arrested at the Mexican border for illegally crossing and carrying a firearm. And perhaps most importantly, they'll point out that his actions caused him to die a slow, lonely death all by himself. He certainly wouldn't have known it, but McCandless's death would mark the start of a chain of events that would lead to multiple other deaths over the—
Oh, good! His idiocy infected a bunch of other idiots. Yay! I wish we could just sort of snip out idiocy before it became worse.
the years that followed.
Into the Wild was a best-selling novel. All of America kind of did Into the Wild.
At the very least, indirectly. And on that note, I want to be clear. I'm not blaming McCandless for
No,
these deaths
no,
or
no.
anybody else.
I
for
am.
them, for that
I
matter,
am.
But it is just a fact that at least
He
4
caused
deaths
this.
have either
He caused
been
it.
loosely associated or
Do something dumb, all the other monkeys do it, you know? My favorite lyric is like, or one of my favorite lyrics from Hobson is like, one monkey sees another monkey eat shit and then he want to do it. That's how I think of it. One monkey watches another monkey eat shit and then he want to do it, you know? That's a good lyric for it.
related to his story. The first of these deaths was that of Claire Ackerman that I told at the beginning of this video, and the next one I want to talk about is that of Dustin Self. In mid-March 2013, 19-year-old Dustin Self up and left his home in Oklahoma
They all look tips fedora.
and drove to the mountains of southwestern Oregon. He had apparently
At least he didn't go to Alaska. Oregon's better than Alaska. Lot better. Lot better. Probably do a lot better in Oregon. Definitely. Alaska is way too far from the fucking, the equator.
movie Into the
Oregon isn't.
Wild, that very same film adaptation of McCandless's story, and wanted to, quote, see if he could live in the wild. Self was also apparently fascinated by a church
Smart, cool motherfuckers don't die to scrub ass shit. They do the research first.
in the area that uses hallucinogenic tea as a sacrament. Self's parents tried to talk him out of going, but unfortunately, he wouldn't listen. At one point, he had actually called his father and told him that he was lost on a remote road, and he also called his ex-girlfriend, acting extremely paranoid. His ex-girlfriend was quoted saying, he, referring to Self, said there were devil worshippers at every gas station that he stopped at to get help, and that all the plants and animals were dead everywhere, and he was trying to bring them back to life.
And this is because they eat bad mushrooms and berries and shit like this for days. Like Paulson wrote in Hatchet. They're all the reason they do all this is they read Into the Wild and Hatchet, and then they start eating the same bad mushrooms and same bad berries that the guy in Hatchet ate. You know. And they just start living out that they want to know what the bad berries and mushrooms are like. I swear to God, they do. And so they eat all this bad food and stuff, and it makes them go crazy like this. And he probably did see devil worshippers at every gas station. He probably, and honestly, it was probably actually Bible worshiping people, not devil worshipping people, probably Bible Belt people. Oregon people out in the wild, out in the mountains like that, they're going to be Bible Belt people. They're not going to be devil worshippers. That's crazy.
Really upset and really
Quite the opposite, right?
scared. And then the line.
But those people, the Bible Belt people, probably see him as Satan. He's a drifter. You see how the role reversal like stuff, he was probably tripping balls off the bad mushrooms and starvation and stuff like this, and it was just not in the right mind. and just deprived. Excuse me, you know, he's deprived, and he's loopy, right? And the people at the gas station see him as a shifty high drifter who comes in out of town, and they've seen movies like Rambo before, and they know where that can go, and they think of him as the devil. It's some unknown neutral that like, this is how EVE Online is too. I think of neutrals as the devil. They don't have any business here. So, I mean, like, right? They don't have any business here unless they're camping. So the kid tells him, yeah, I'm camping out here. And the fucking guy at the gas station is like, oh, okay. You're out here alone, are you? Is going to be the next question. I guarantee it. And he's going to be like, you're out here alone, are you? And the guy's going to scowl at him. And he's going to be like, my taxes are going to be the money that pays for the cop to go drag you out of the canyon or drag your corpse out of the canyon, one or the other, right? And so you can tell the guy at the gas station, the Bible Belt guy, knows that this guy isn't from here. He doesn't know what he's doing. He doesn't belong out here alone. He's in a dangerous place where the deprivation can kill you. He's loopy, which is dangerous. And so he just seems like and acts like some kind of devil man. You know, to the gas station people, he probably comes across as like some shiftless devil man drifter, frankly. And so he gets this in his mind that these people are devil worshippers, and they get it in their mind that he's a devil worshiper because they're afraid of each other. And then because he's loopy, he calls up his girlfriend and tells everybody tells her that everybody at the gas station is a fucking devil worshiper, when no, they're probably some of the few Americans left that are probably still going to church on Sunday. You know? And this is my problem with ignorance and stupidity and letting yourself get loopy. Like, you know, every time I ever did a drug that got me to a point where I felt like I didn't have control of my faculties or my voice or my words anymore, I would just tell one of my best friends and be like, I need help. I have done too much drugs. I need you to support me here. I need you to help me from drifting too much to the negative. I need you to just help me get through this for a couple of hours. I'm tripping too hard or some such, right? I'm going to tell somebody and I'm going to ask them for their help. And I'm going to let them know that I'm operating at a reduced capability and that I can't be trusted and that I can't, you know, that I shouldn't be trusted with decisions and all this other stuff like a good party leader would or whatever. But no, this guy stumbles into the 7-Eleven half starved and half dead. And like, and obviously he's not from there. And I mean, the guy working at the 7-Eleven isn't going to like him. He's not going to like him. He's going to be like, okay, what are you doing here, kid? Why are you alone? You know? Are you out here alone? You look like you're camping, but you don't have any, you don't have a tent, you know?
Went dead. This would be the last time that anybody
heard from him.
He was reported missing a short time later, but a few weeks went by until any new clues were discovered after that. Eventually, though, a rancher located Self's pickup truck on a remote section.
Wait, he had a truck? I don't want to hear about some dude who had a truck. That's not camping. Fuck him. He had a truck. That's not camping. They had a truck the whole time. That's car camping. Fuck this fucking... Oh my god. That is not camping. The motherfucker had a truck. Oh, go fuck yourself. You're just an idiot with a truck. You're not camping.
The pickup truck had slid off the
oh my god.
road, and it contained Self's laptop, some food, and his road GPS. This discovery of the vehicle seemed promising. It was unlikely that Self made it very far beyond the car, but...
It's never promising.
Unfortunately,
to find an empty vehicle with somebody's laptop sitting there.
His case then went cold.
Are you sure that's what they thought? I think they're probably thinking, uh-oh, we'll never find this guy again.
No additional clues were discovered, and his family hoped that he had either made it off the map.
I don't like speaking ill of the dead, but on top of it, not only did Christopher McCandless cause this will cause someone else to go out there and die alone. An idiot convinced my generation, not just my generation, but an entire country. An idiot convinced a lot of our country to believe that they can deal with the wilderness alone. And I'm sorry, but why would you? I'm sorry. Maybe you're Mick Dodge and you live out there or whatever. But I mean, overall, why would you be out there alone? I really need you to answer this question. Think about it really pretty hard here. I realize that you might live a kind of like self-deluded, like 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 not non-aware self-deluded life, but okay, so let's say you're full of yourself and you can believe that you can do anything, right? But why would you need to be out in the wilderness alone? Is it to prove something to somebody? Is it to prove to the world or some pride to yourself that you can handle it? Now, I'm going to tell you how a smart person is going to answer the question so I can learn, right? But I don't know. I don't think learning had a lot to do with what these idiots were up to. I think they were just high on their own fucking copahol of like thinking that they're God's gift to existence or whatever.
Somewhere, or had been laying low and living off the land just like Chris McCandless did. And then, over a year later, in October of 2014, a hunter on Steens Mountain was in the process of quietly stalking a deer when he made a horrifying discovery. He was moving through some short aspen trees when all of a sudden he looked down and he saw some discarded clothing and a leg bone. He reported the finding, and by the end of the day, it was clear to investigators that these were, unfortunately, the...
You really don't seem like the type that should be in the mountains alone to me. You don't seem like you have the wherewithal or the hardness or the fucking the understanding of nobody's gonna cut you a break out there. You strike me as a like a really green optimist, and I don't think optimism and survivalism are a good mix. I think pragmatism and survivalism is a good mix. I don't think optimism and survivalism are a good mix. I don't think you should assume you're going to survive. I don't think you should assume that you should see tomorrow if you're out there camping. I think you need to make sure that you have the abilities and tools to reach that point, you know? I don't think you should have this hope that you'll make it as opposed to the knowledge.
They'd found the keys to his pickup truck, and they eventually found his driver's...
Now, it's been 8 years since I've camped in the mountains, so I'm not one to talk anymore, and I'd be the first one to admit it, right? That's how a pragmatist thinks of it, right? It's been 8 years since I pitched a tent, you know? Or whatever, like in terms of like building, you know, building a camp or pitching a tent, not like an erection or whatever, like, you know. I'm talking about like it's been a long, I get an erection every day. Like I'm talking about, you know, it's been 8 years since I pitched a tent or built a camp, and I now feel that I am so rusty that I would not trust myself in the Colorado mountains, much less, you know, Oregon or even more north, Alaska. So now I feel like I would need to go into the wild with friends who have guns and camping gear and tents and gear and food and resources and cars and the ability to do all that. And these people seem to me like they just sort of throw a backpack together and walk out the road like the veritable, you know, Frodo Baggins. Frodo Baggins just leaves, right? He leaves with Samwise, as I recall, and they bump into Merry and Pippin at the farmer patch, and sure, I'm a huge Frodo fan. I wear the ring. I'm a big believer in Frodo, and I'm a big believer in going out your front door like that and getting caught up in an adventure and letting it take you to the mountain. I do, but I don't think you do it alone. I'm sorry. Survival is just not this thing that you do alone. I'm against that. Now, if you're a single man who just can't seem to swing a girlfriend or friends that'll go up to the mountains with you, I guess what's the situation there? Like Christopher McCandless, right? I never had a problem having a girlfriend in my life like these people. I still don't even think I have honestly, I had a girl hit on me at the fucking grocery store yesterday. I literally did. She was like, cute ring. She's like, you like Lord of the Rings? And I was like, yeah. And she always says this to me. She uses Lord of the Rings as a way to get in at me because she can see the ring, right? And I'm like, yeah, I'm mid 40s and eligible and a bachelor, but I'm not looking for a girlfriend right now. My body is still I'm losing weight, but it's a slow process, and I'm just not ready to be in a relationship right now. I need a couple more months, I think. I'm ready, but I'm not ready yet. I need a couple more months, I think. And like I just don't, and I just don't see the need to go into a survival situation alone. And this is somebody who plays entirely solo on Rust, and entirely solo on Scum, and entirely solo on all these survival games, Eve, and I mean I don't play entirely solo on Eve or Fallout 76, but I mean I do play almost entirely solo, and one of the reasons I do this is because I know that when I need somebody, I will ask for them or I will accompany them if they want to have a fun time or whatever. But I don't I don't think dealing with these problems alone. I think anybody intrinsically going into it with that attitude is going to intrinsically fail. And I see loners. I see even that dude and his girlfriend died, and it was almost like she paid his sins, when she drowned, and because of Christopher McCandless. But I mean, I look at that situation and I think you guys are out there alone with no support, no backup. Like if I'm camping, I'm going to call somebody in the morning and I'm going to call in the evening. I'm going to, when I go to bed, I'm going to turn on the cell phone. I'm going to make a call out to my mother or my lover or or my best friend or something. And I'm going to be like, I'm out in the woods. I'm doing fine. We had a fun today. We went fishing. The dog caught a fish in the trap or something and started biting it, or tell some story or whatever, right? And then you hang up. You talk to him for like 90 seconds, but then you hang up because you need the phone to keep a charge, and you also need a solar charger if you're going to be out there in the mountains alone. You need a solar charger. You need 2 or 3 water filters, not just one. 2 or 3 water filters, and at least one of them needs to be a hand crank, or you will die of dysentery or bad water. I mean, there's a lot of things that has to happen. You have to have some form of food that's compacted very tightly that will get you through a couple days of deprivation. You have to have that. I used to do ramen, but that's a bad one, Like I used to crumble ramen into a fucking bag. I used to break like 10 bags of ramen into one single Ziploc bag. And I knew that I could just throw that in water. Even if I couldn't get fire, I could throw it in the water and I could just, let the ramen get soft and just eat the noodles and survive in a deprivation situation. I would bring powdered mashed potatoes are a really good water to potato ratio. Pouches of mashed potatoes are a really good way to carry food in the mountains, stuff like that. But dried stuff is a really good way to do it. Jerky and like cured jerky, cured the right way, is really good. Trail mix, right? You need carbs that you can't get by cooking meals, and that's like trail mix and stuff like that. There's all these things about camping that you must know. You cannot go into it. They think just because they get some base reality, and I think the first thing to understand about camping is that you can't do it alone. You can, but you must let people know what you're doing and where you are at all times. And you must be telling them that you're healthy and you've had 3 square meals that day, and you're exercising and you're working and you're not decaying or starting to get sick in a corner and while you try and find food or something like that. They need to know that you're getting 3 solid meals and enjoying the hell out of yourself, and you're out there having fun. You're not out there starving to death. And that's a reality that like a good survivalist never ever would have neglected. They just never would have done it, I think that the second guy who died in the Christopher McCandless debacle brought his girlfriend, which is a really fucking good thing. But I mean, she ended up paying the sins of them going out there and not being prepared for what they dealt with, which was a river. Now, I'll tell you how to deal with a fucking river. Don't go in the fucking river. Now, if it's summer, Aw, maintenance in half an hour? Damn it. If it's summer, you can go in the river. But, I mean, not if it's fast, you know? And, like, don't go in the fucking river, period. If you're crossing a river, I don't know, man. Like if you're camping the right way, you've got too much gear. Maybe you have a boat if you're smart and you've done this a lot. My favorite guy for this is Rocky Mountain Ovens. I'll go pull him. He's older now, so he's probably doing less than he used to do. But Rocky Mountain Ovens is one of my favorite streamers. Not stream. Well, yeah, he was kind of a streamer. He wasn't really a streamer, but Ovens Rocky Mountain Bushcraft, right? He's got 800k subs. He's a successful dude. Great guy.
Off to Vancouver Island on an
Ex-alcoholic, ex-methamphetamine addict like me. Really strong guy. Really not afraid of being a man, you know.
to do a
And he never takes challenges that he isn't prepared to win. You know, that's survival for you. You don't ever do anything that you know you can't do 110%.
7-day survival challenge.
Experimentation and survival don't really mix. Survival is this age-old thing that we've known how to do for 10 million years, and you don't really deviate very much from survivalism. Survivalism is a craft that's always been what it's been for like 10 million years. It doesn't evolve or become some kind of Bass Pro Shops thing. It's just always been the basic tenets. Bring enough carbs to not die. Don't ever get in the river. You'll get swept away. Don't ever get in don't ever get in cold situations. You'll freeze to death. If a blizzard is coming, go all the way down the mountain. Don't stay at the top of the mountain. If all these other things about pragmatism that. So I'm going to get off this game because that sound is going to run for half an hour and it's going to drive me fucking crazy and I can't really handle it. I can't handle sound torture, Bethesda. So I'm just going to get off your game now. It had the opposite effect, or maybe it has the right effect, actually. Yeah, I really got off that game right away. I was like, ugh, that sound is fucking horrible. So we'll load New World now. Ooh, I could play Hogwarts Legacy, but I'm not really in the mood. I'm waiting for a bad day when I don't want to play an MMO, and I'll play some Hogwarts Legacy like all day. But I'm saving it. I'm saving Hogwarts Legacy. I want to play it like 5 years after it came out. I think that would be a fun time to do it. So here's Rocky Mountain Ovens. He doesn't fuck around with waiting for fish to catch. He's gonna have the best bait in the world, you know? Yep.
I'm Greg Ovens.
Greg Ovens. He's got a dildo quaff. He's got a dildo quaff. Look. It's a dildo quaff.
I'm Greg Ovens.
It's a dildo quaff.
And this is
big black cock. Oh my God.
Rocky Mountain Bushcraft.
So anyways, yeah, bushcraft is the word for it. Bushcraft is an old science. It's a science. And we've been doing it for 10 million years. There's been innovations. But I mean, we've been doing it for 10 million years. There's not that much innovation. We've been doing this for a long time. And one of the things about bushcraft is you don't go in alone unless you're this guy and you've been doing it every day for 50 years. You know, if you've been doing it every day for 50 years, and the woods are like your office, you know, you don't have an office like at the cubicle. You have the woods, and you live in the woods all day, like Mick Dodge or whatever. You do not need to worry about being out there alone because you've done it for so many years that it's not even really a challenge to you anymore. That's what Christopher McCandless thought he could do day one. And that's why I resent him. The real motherfuckers of the world don't die. Now, okay, I would say if you were to compare intellect between Rocky Mountain Ovens and Christopher McCandless, I think there's going to be something like a 20 or 30 IQ quotient. Now, Ovens is not stupid. He's a very smart man. But I'm sure that Christopher McCandless was a far more intelligent guy than Ovens is, right? I'm just sure of it. I know because I've watched like 500 hours of Ovens Rocky Mountain Bushcraft, you know? I just know it. I know what Greg's mind is like. I read Into the Wild enough to know how hipster, douchebag, and intelligent Christopher McCandless actually was, right? And I know the comparison between the two. Which one's alive, right? the lower IQ person. He's the one who's alive because he didn't fuck with the process. He didn't try to rewrite it. He didn't try to innovate it or try to do it without the 10 million year old doctrine that we've had forever. You know, it's almost a doctrine, survival. It's a doctrine. You can't really deviate from it. You must use fish traps. You must use bird traps. You must have a ranged weapon. You must have like several ranged weapons. You must have the knowledge. You must have fire, some way to make fire instantly. You must have it, like, or at least some kind of fire starter. You must have kindling. You must have a flint and tinder or some form of it. You must have enough clothing and warmth to get by in a really cold situation of, say, maybe 10 degrees. You must have like all of these things. Even in the summer in the mountains of Florida, you will freeze to death, right? It doesn't matter. Even in the summer in the mountains in California, you will freeze to death. It doesn't matter. In August 15th, you can freeze to death in the mountains of Malibu on August 15th. You can freeze to death very easily. And so you must have, for all times of year, you must have, like, 10 degree or below clothing and sleeping gear. You must have some way to suspend your food above the fucking ground where the animals can't get to it. The one thing that animals can't do is fly, essentially. Like the birds will maybe steal your food, but it's unlikely. Like, really, the animals will not be able to fly up to get your suspended food. But if you leave your food on the ground, the animals will come find it, and most likely the animal that comes to find it is one that's going to terrify you to death. So, and I've had a bear go through my camp before. I've had my friend fire a 9mm into the air to scare the shit out of a bear and get it out of our camp and stuff. I've had experiences like that. So, you understand that, like, you can't just go out into the mountains with your fucking knapsack, jack off. You're a fucking jack off. And you're going to cause other jack offs to fucking jack off too. To use a bad euphemism, So now I feel bad that I'm not going to watch this 2-hour and 37-minute movie that Greg's done. But I mean, I love these videos that he's done. Look, he's in my neck of the woods. It's kind of funny. Vancouver Island.
Let's get on the road, man.
Like I'm Pacific Northwest, so.
On the road.
So notice he's got 2 big trucks, he's got 2 big dudes, he's got a fucking following who tracks him wherever he goes, watches everything that he does. He's got money, he's got people, he's got support, he's got satellite phones and all types of shit. Can he go right on out into the mountains with nothing but a knapsack? Yes, he can. He's done this for 50 years. He is qualified to do so. Christopher McCandless is qualified to fucking die like a scrub, infect a bunch of other scrubs with his idiocy, cause them to die like a scrub, and embarrass all of us who consider ourselves to be bushcraft people. Embarrass us all. It's a bad look for Colorado. It's a bad look for Oregon. It's a bad look for Alaska. And those are the people that I grew up with. Most of my friends are Alaskans or Coloradans, one or the other.
License and his credit card. There was no indication.
I'm a mountain man. Got a lot of mountain friends. I get along with Alaska girls,
Of foul.
I find Breckenridge girls irresistible, I'm a mountain man, in the true sense of the word. I've lived up there for weeks on end,
Play or self.
And I know what's required, and Christopher McCandless was not it. He was not it.
It appeared as though Dust himself had simply died from exposure. We'll probably never.
It's weird because so many of my friends venerated him. It's so weird. But hey, I venerate Kurt Cobain, so who am I to talk? My hero is fucking dead of junk. So who am I to fucking talk? I think this guy had a better life than Kurt Cobain did, frankly.
Know exactly what his motivations were.
I'm sure he was a happier person than Kurt Cobain. I guarantee it.
But it is clear that Christopher McCandless' story was on Self's mind when he left home and headed for Oregon.
Yep, he was like, I'm just going to go off and die alone in the fucking woods, just like my hero, Christopher the Scrub McCandless.
When he initially went missing.
No offense to the family or the victims or any of that. No offense to the, God rest the dead and all this. But this guy, he did not have a good influence on my friends. He could have killed one of my friends. He infected one of my friends' brains so fucking badly that it could have killed him. You know, I've seen the negative sides of this, you know.
He was actually framed as a sort of...
My best friend, he bought an operation boat. He bought motorcycles. He got the Christopher McCandless thing in his head, and he just went off with it. He bought 25 firearms. He went off with it, and I'm certain McCandless is where he got it from. I know it, and I'm not saying those are bad things. It's good things that he did those things. Those are manly things. They're good to do. I've got no issue with guns. Got no issue with anything that he did. But I know that McCandless had like this cult-like fucking influence on him, and it wasn't good. It turned these city boys into these rugged mountain men overnight, and a bunch of them weren't really ready.
Of Christopher McCandless.
I hate to say it like that, but yeah, you guys are kind of city slickers, a little bit.
Copycat almost.
I would call myself a city slicker. You know, I've camped in the mountains like Greg. I've camped in the Rocky Mountain mountains in Hell's Hole for weeks on end. Okay, and like I don't know what that does for qualification, but I don't think most people have lived in the Rocky Mountains in Hell's Hole Pass for 3 weeks. You know, I don't think most people have done that. I have, and I know the fucking difference.
Stuff, by the way, for Jared. It's just to give you an idea of how massively famous he was. This guy was a legend in the early 2000s. In 2002, Jared's popularity would even reach Saturday Night Live, where Jared was played by
My God, I want to go back to this. I'm sorry.
Wild copycat, with many headlines reading like this one from ABC News. Quote, Oklahoma teenager inspired by Into the Wild missing.
Here's a smart person talking about it, someone who sees it from the outside. It hasn't been poisoned by the hero worship or whatever. Like, I'm as much to worship heroes as anybody else, even as much as the Christians, really. I venerate some of my heroes just as much as I think any Christians do the God that they fear. But I will say that, like, I don't think hero worship is a good enough reason to wander off into the woods and die alone.
After Self's body was discovered, his family started to downplay the connection to Christopher McCandless. His father said that Self's interest in Into the Wild was overblown. And so with that said, exactly how much of a role McCandless's story played in Self's decision-making is unclear, but it is clear that it at least played somewhat of a role, even if it was small. In a disturbing twist to what is already an incredibly disturbing sequence of events, between the time of Dustin Self's disappearance and the discovery of his body, another out-of-state teenager traveled to Oregon and then went missing. And just like Dustin Self, this teenager had
New World loaded really quickly for some reason.
By the story of Chris McCandless. In August of 2013, 18-year-old
maintenance
was visiting a friend in Seattle, Washington. On the 16th, he left Seattle and he was presumed to be heading back to his home in Arizona. He was scheduled to begin his college classes only a few days later. But Jonathan Kroom never made it back to Arizona, and it didn't take long before his parents realized that something had gone wrong. And almost immediately, they began wondering if their son had been copying Chris McCandless by leaving everything behind and living out in the wild. Kroom had reportedly been talking about the movie Into the Wild before he disappeared. And then, on August 21st, Kroom's vehicle was discovered. It was found on a remote road in the town of Riddle, Oregon, which is a
Riddle,
tiny
Oregon.
Of only like 1,200 people.
Oh, what were you doing up there, you fucking scrub? And you got to go to someone else's town and cause a tragedy too. Come on, man. If you're gonna fucking camp in the mountains, do it as close to your house as you can.
Of Interstate 5. Inside the vehicle was Kroom's wallet, $200 in cash, and perhaps most concerning,
I don't think that's enough money.
Book on survival. Now, this discovery of Kroom's vehicle only amplified the theory that he was
I'm thinking like 300.
Trying to copy Christopher McCandless. After he went missing, Kroom's parents said that he was
enough for a bus ticket, a motel room, meals, and a $50 purchase of some kind of emergency gear or some such, or any variation of it. But I don't know about 200. 200 seems to me like the kind of money that I would take to, like, say, the casino or the bar. In a survival situation, I might go higher. A little bit higher.
Was, quote, obsessed
If I had that kind of money, you know?
with the movie Into the Wild.
Anyways, if I had that kind of money to have $300 lying around, I haven't had $300 in one place and one time since... God. Well, I bought my computer. When I bought my home. That was the last time I had. Now I have lots of money, kind of, in terms of, like, savings. I have, like, $5,000 in savings. But, like, I don't have anything in the budget, really. Like, the budget's completely spoken for. I don't have any funny money in the budget at all. So, like, if you look at it like that direction, like, I don't have $300 to just go fucking slap down in my wallet when I'm camping.
The fact that he had left behind his money and was clearly studying up on survival tactics was not a good sign. Kroom had been a Boy Scout in his younger days, but despite this, he was far from an experienced outdoorsman. Kroom's
Oh my god, this idiot Pied Piper killed a bunch of people.
father was quoted saying,
Don't follow the Pied Piper, kids. Don't go off into the woods alone and die, please. Please do not do that.
he's been watching the movie, referring to Into the Wild, a lot. Maybe he said, I want to do it. That's our theory, because he kept talking about the movie. Just as in that movie, referring to Into the Wild again, he left everything behind and took off. And we just don't know what he left with. He was talking to another friend that it would be great to just leave penniless and just work along the way and get resources like they did in the movie. Unfortunately,
That is such a terrible attitude to have. I mean, we'll just, like, you know, we'll just work it off. We'll work off survival. We'll just work it off at the local, you know, as a dishwasher at the local bar or something. It's such a bad attitude.
the ending to Jonathan Kroom's case was just as tragic.
Okay, so all of my main games are in maintenance, so I will go play some Rust now. We will play some Rust. I will change the title. Hello. We are not playing Fallout anymore. We are playing some Rust Hardcore Zombies. Yes, and there we go. And there we are. Going through the various different monitors. I think I'll keep you on 76, but we will say Rust right now. And fuck it, I'll just say Rust. It's fine. Rust. And then we save. Oops, I don't know if I did any comments, but there we go. We save, and then we will load some Rust. One person on the server.
Tragic as that of Christopher McCandless's, perhaps even more so. On Monday, August 26th, 2013, a search team using cadaver dogs discovered Kroom's body located only 1,000 feet away from his abandoned vehicle. And tragically, it was evident that Kroom had taken his own life. This was shocking, but not totally unexpected either, as Kroom had apparently gone through a breakup recently, and he had also apparently sent some concerning text messages to a friend around the time of his disappearance. Much like the story of Dustin Self, it certainly wouldn't be fair to say the entire situation was inspired by Christopher McCandless, but it's also abundantly clear that McCandless's story once again played a small role at the very least. I'm just speculating here, but if anything, maybe it gave the boys that final boost of confidence that they needed to run off into the woods. This next story, however, was definitely directly related to Christopher McCandless. And that's because just like the story of Claire Ackerman that I shared at the start of the video, the most recent death that I'm aware of, at least, associated with Into the Wild came as a result of a hiker trying to reach bus 142. In July of 2019, a newlywed couple from Belarus were hiking through the Alaskan wilderness, zeroing in on the famous location where Christopher McCandless met his end. And when they reached the Teclanica River, they had to make a tough decision. And once again, as a reminder, this is the very same river that
Oh my god, this river killed everybody.
killed Ackerman and that ended up trapping McCandless.
I love it. The river is this wonderful, beautiful, it's almost this god metaphor. I don't know if you guys are catching the subtle undertones here, but the river itself is like Mother Nature. It's kind of like Moby Dick and the whale. The river is the whale, and the river always wins, guys. I hate to say it, but the river always wins. You can make all the plans in the world. It doesn't matter. The river will always win. Like, you know how they try to teach us about, like, in Jurassic Park, nature always wins, and if there's some way for life to figure out some way through a problem, it will, and all these other things, and general dynamics and all this, right? And I mean, that's how it works. So I find it comforting that the river takes these people. I'm not taking joy in their death. I'm saying I find it comforting that the river still takes the people. If things were truly wrong, the river wouldn't be able to take the people, right? And so I still find comfort in the fact that the river takes the people, always. When they act stupid like this, the river takes the people. The same river, same people. It'll always be like that. The river takes the people. If you do not respect nature, you will die in the same river. You know? It sucks, but it's like that. They went out there and they disrespected nature exactly like him.
Which
They were like out there alone, and they got themselves in the bad river situation like all the other people, and now they lose again, and we get another copycat idiot.
was
And I know that's speaking ill of the dead, but I mean, please do not go out into the wilderness alone. Please do not do that. Take 5 people with you, please, if you're gonna do stuff like that. Don't go out there with just you and your boyfriend or you and your girlfriend. Please do not do that. Don't go out there alone at all. Don't go out there to commit suicide. It's just bad, you know? It's bad juju. Also, on top of that, the river didn't want anything to do with you. The forest that you killed yourself in didn't want you to kill yourself there. You brought your energy to the river, and you added death to it.
for him. The Teclanica River was once again extremely swollen.
I believe in such things deeply, you know?
And any attempt to
You brought your bad energy here.
cross it would have been essentially a game of Russian roulette. Now, I'm not sure if the couple from Belarus were ignorant to the danger that they were in,
No.
or if they just had tunnel vision and were focused on getting to the bus, but regardless, they
Gotta get to the bus, come hell or high water, or our deaths, you know? Or come deaths even, you know? Even deaths, you know? Psst. Have I been rated yet? I'll just replace it all if I do. But nope, I have not been rated yet. Lots of barrels right there. Yeah, we looking okay? No, I'm gonna have to go and put you on game capture here for Rust. Yeah. Yeah. Oh, yeah. 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 Okay. I am not rated. I don't care to do anything else. I will log. No. I will go to the busiest server I have on my list. Sure. No, I don't know. Yeah, that'll be good. Fuck it. And I'll do this for like a couple of hours.
and the results were tragic. As Veronika Maikamava and her husband were making their way across
My God.
the river, the violent current swept her underwater. Her husband did his absolute best to
And the same exact thing happened again. The Pied Pipered an idiot. The other idiot Pied Pipered an idiot. And now we're just going to have idiots going back to that river for hundreds of years and dying in it. Yes, stupidity does work this way. It is contagious, like COVID. It will transmit through the air. Stupidity, and please do not get Pied Piper by the Into the Wild idiot.
But by the time he reached her down the river, she had unfortunately already died. This story was almost identical to the story of Claire Ackerman.
My God, I hate repetition. When you think about what the chances are of that happening twice it's got to be up there in the 3.6 billion, and you'll understand that Christopher McCandless actually kind of was a curse and shouldn't be venerated. You know, he kind of was a curse. He caused some deaths past his grave even. He was not a good man, I don't think. There is a irresponsible. It was not his fault that he died alone out there. It was not his. I mean, it was his fault, but I mean, it's not his. You know, it sucks that he caused all this. It's not his fault that all this happened. He's been dead since 1993, but now the bodies are starting to stack up. It reminds me of a horror movie or something. It reminds me of, like, I Know What You Did Last Summer or Scream or something like that. It's weird. It has, like, a horror movie premise, you know? Oh, shit. Yeah, kill it. Oh, shit. Double barrel. Yeah, go get him. Go get the double barrel. I don't have anything. No, I don't. No. Good. Good. Ooh. Bye. Idiot. Ooh. 3 loot. Oh, really? No. I must touch the wall. I must jump up. Must jump up. Must jump up. Must jump up. Yes. Fuck you. I love Rust. It's immediately fucking engaging. It's always engaging. It immediately engages you, like, all of your attention, you know? Especially when you're fresh on a server. Whatever server this is. I don't even know what this server is, and I don't care, frankly. That's how you know that I have graduated and won. I don't even care what server I'm on. I still have fun no matter where I go. You know? Winning. Oh, we don't like the sound of that, but we do like the sight of this. And, what was that shit? I'm checking your water. What of it? Fuck you. Who? Oh. Oh no. Please, I don't have anything. No. I don't have anything. I don't have anything. I don't have anything. I don't have anything. No. I don't have anything. I don't have anything. I'm serious. Thank you. I love social engineering. I don't have anything. I don't have anything. I can't believe that worked. Oh, look, it's the outpost. Oh, no. Is he going to shoot me now? I don't know. Is he going to shoot me now? Go. Go. Okay, I like here. This is good enough, but I don't know. I might be too close. This is perfect, though. Look at this shit. Perfect. If I can get enough wood before they kill me. Please let me get the tree. Please, please, please. Must get the tree. Please let me get the tree. No! Run! I heard him. Oh! Aw. Might get a lot of PvP. Yeah, why not? Is there, well, but is there a recycler at Fishing Village, though? I don't want to live, like, far away from a recycler, really. I want to live on Outpost. Outpost, where are you? Where are you, Outpost? I don't see you. Oh, there you are, there you are. Hey, I'm not far. Nice. Is that a horse or a bear?
Years earlier, and it ended with equally tragic results. And for every person who's died trying to reach the famous site, there have been numerous others who have had to be rescued and almost lost their lives as well. There have been so many rescues along the trail that leads to Bus 142, the State Trail, many of them related to that very same Teklenika River, by the way, that I can't even come close to going over all of them in this video. According to my research, between 2009 and 2017, there were at least 15 search and rescue operations to save hikers who were trying to reach the bus. And I'm unsure of how many occurred after 2017, but I did read that in February of 2020, 5 more hikers, these ones from Italy, were rescued on their return trip from the bus. I want to note real quick that these 5 hikers were actually rescued because they initiated an SOS call from a GPS satellite communicator. I always advocate for hikers to carry these life-saving devices in my videos.
Yep.
And
these day and ages, you shouldn't be out without them.
Where to find them or which ones to get, and I haven't really addressed that, so I'm gonna start tagging some of the popular devices in the description of my videos. My personal favorite is the Garmin InReach Mini, but there's lots of options and you can choose whichever one you think is best. From my research, it seems like the Alaskan government performed most of the rescues surrounding Bus 142, but I did find at least one that the Tri-Valley Volunteer Fire Department from Healy, Alaska participated in. This is a tiny organization and I'm not affiliated with them at all, but I have made a donation to support them. I'm trying to give back to these volunteer organizations, and so I'll link their PayPal in the description if you're interested in giving back to them as well. So I'd like to raise a question for all of you, and I'm afraid that this is a question without a clear answer, at least in my opinion. I'm wondering, is anybody responsible for the loss of life, the rescues, and the chaos that has come in the wake of Christopher McCandless's death? And if so, then who is responsible? I'm sure many of you probably thought of Chris McCandless himself as an answer to that question, and I'm trying to be unbiased here, but I don't know. I think it's a little far-fetched to blame him for everything that's happened after his death.
Blame him.
I definitely think there's
But
a
I don't
strong
care.
argument to be
That's
made
the other
that
thing.
he was being reckless, damn near suicidal in his actions, but he was only acting for himself, right? Like, how is he supposed to know that his story was one day going to go on to reach and influence just so many people? I certainly don't think that was his intention. I think he was just doing what he wanted to do, even if it was probably pretty stupid. I'm sure a lot of folks will also blame the authors, the filmmakers, and the content creators that have repeatedly told Christopher McCandless's story and perhaps maybe over romanticized it. I find this argument a little bit more compelling than the last one, but at the end of the day, I do think that telling his story is perfectly acceptable so long as it's being portrayed accurately. And lastly, I think a lot of you are probably going to hold each individual themselves responsible for their own actions. And I'm always careful not to victim blame in these videos, but I must admit that I personally have the most sympathy for this argument. At the end of the day, we all have to be responsible for ourselves. And again, I mean, certainly mean no disrespect to any of the victims here, but just because Christopher McCandless's story may have inspired you, that doesn't mean that it's a good idea to go out there and try to live off the land yourself. And the same goes for trying to reach the bus, by the way. And speaking of the bus, in 2020, the government finally put their foot down surrounding the incidences at bus 141 and the river leading up to it. On
They're like,
June
listen, you
18th,
idiot
the Alaska
hipster
National
douchebag,
Guard
stop coming
brought
out
in a
here
helicopter,
and costing us
and
money.
They airlifted the bus out of the wilderness.
Yep. Stop coming out here and costing us money, you know? Yep. This is how we feel about it in Colorado, too. Tourists come and they get in trouble all the time. That's for the citizens who live there, you know? It's not for you. You don't live there. Ten seconds, and I feel like I'm gonna die before I get this on the ground. So annoying. Hurry up, you. Oh god, there's somebody on the ridge. I don't want to go to train yard at all. Like, at all. I'll have to skirt it, like, this way. Through the snow, I guess, or something. I don't know. I saw somebody coming in that way, and he saw me. And now I'm probably going to get fucked here. I at least got a bag down this time. I'll throw down a base, I guess, just because, you know, then I'll be established. And I'll try and, yeah, and I'll try and, make my way to outposts and build outside that, but I have a spawn here, and I can begin to get established here if I die. It's fine. I want that water, beneficial to me. Oh, wait, but this guy was here last time I came through. Oof. I want to make a murder 2x2 on the road outside outposts and rob them as they're leaving, like I usually do. I don't know if I'll get that far in 2 hours because I'm just gonna go right back to 76 the minute that the maintenance is up. I guess I can check 76 server status. That's something I can do. Complete are available. No, wait, no. Bethesda Net status portal for 76. Yeah. Oh, wait. That's good. Make me another one. Yeah. I want to hide for a second and just get another bed established closer to. Ooh, this road seems good, but I still need to be closer to outpost than this. I can't be running train yard for recycles. This whole place is probably surrounded by people. 10 seconds. I have to pee, and I'm going to do it in this bush, I think. Shit. Train yard. If I run south, I probably won't have a problem anymore. I really feel like I could die here, though. I feel exposed. Why are those trees red? Oh, it's showing me where I can build and where I can't. Oh, nice shot, buddy. Nice. Okay. Well, it was a nice shot. Props. Yeah. Wait. Why didn't I use my bed? What? Am I on timer? I am for 2 minutes here. I'm gonna go pee. Let's see. Accounts are operational. All systems operational. I'm looking for 76 is operational, but is it up? Just fucking jack off, cap me with a fucking sap from fucking 70 or 80. All right, I'm just gonna wait. You say it's up, so I guess I'll go back to 76 now. Goodbye. It was fun, but yeah, this was faster than I thought. No wonder New World loaded really fast, because the servers were down. See if it's actually up. Double score. Yay, we're good. Okay, I'm going to go pee while this logs, and I'll be right back. I'll change my titles when I get back. BRB. Okay, we're back in. Yay! And continue to work on my character. I want to reach 200 and now what's that? That is a bunch of dudes. Oh, yep. Can't see you, but I blasted you. Ah. Damn it. Fucking annoying. I want to exit and I want to, ooh, kill a Blood Eagle. I need to kill them. So I want to exit to main menu. I want to change my titles again. Fallout 76. What is this? Skyline Valley. Skyline Valley. Okay. We're going to play Fallout 76 right now. Has 1.4k viewers. I think I'd rather just be in Just Chat. I am playing 3 games at once, and I think that qualifies me for Just Chatting, because I can't tell them what games I'm playing beyond this. Yes. Done. Okay, we go up and we will do some 76 now. Shares progression with adventure. So, yeah, you can just do your own solo private event. I think I will go solo now. I don't need them for anything but events. I need somebody to nuke, but I don't really need I think I would prefer to do this. Also, I want to look at the settings real quick. Yes, is doing better. So play private.
Wilderness. The commissioner for the Alaska Department of Natural Resources said, quote, "We encourage people to enjoy Alaska's wild areas safely, and we understand the hold this bus has had on the popular imagination. However, This is an abandoned and deteriorating vehicle that was requiring dangerous and costly rescue efforts, but more importantly was costing some visitors their lives. I'm glad we found a safe, respectful, and economical solution to this situation. My understanding is that the bus is now being held at the Museum of the North on the University of Alaska Fairbanks campus. And with that said, please leave a comment and let me know what you think about the aftermath of Christopher McCandless' story. I feel like there's no right answer to any of this stuff, and so I'm
Yeah, they probably took a helicopter in there, and they just picked up the whole goddamn bus as it was, and now they're going to hold it like a national treasure, I guess. Why not? Super Mutant Champion, huh? Oh, that's a deadly Yaguai. Ouch. Come on, Yaguai. Ah! Come on, Super Mutant. Oh my god. Oops.
curious about what you guys think of this one. And once again, I'd like to remind you to check out Holzkern and click the link in the description because this video would not have been possible without them. And lastly, definitely most importantly, please keep Claire Ackerman, Dustin Self, Jonathan Kroom, Veronica Micah Matha, and
I'm so sorry you guys fell victim to this.
In your hearts.
I'm so sorry.
Peace.
It's just folly. All it is folly. There's no evil here. It's just folly. It's going into the wilderness expecting anything different from dying. You know, the wilderness is not for the living. You know, there's a reason we live in cities. God damn it, you are annoying. Where's the other thing that's supposed to be there? What the hell? How is that right? That seems weird. Nope. Stop. I hit him. I did hit him. Fucking annoying. I missed him. Damn it, now I'm out. Where'd you go? I don't have any more grenades? I guess not. Ah. Damn, that guy just like lit into me. I can't move for some reason. Why can't I move? Come on. Ugh. Why am I overlogged? Is it food? Probably is. You are so annoying. What? Ah. Oh, okay. Wow, there's a lot more to do. I had no idea. Cool.
To ever live. And the joke of this skit is where Jared and his followers would go to an alternative restaurant called Sub Shack, where they all regained their weight. Funny.
This is me 6 months ago. I always wanted to wear pants like this. Now I can't, because I went back to Sub Shack.
Hi, Jared. We knew you'd be back.
My idea of a balanced diet is to have all my favorite red meats in one sandwich. Thanks, Sub Shack.
That same year, Jared would be mentioned on South Park in an episode called Jared Has AIDS. And instead of losing the weight from Subway, it says that he lost the weight due to AIDS, which is a reference to the sexually transmitted disease.
I'm standing out front of the mayor's office where the big liar Jared is once again about to speak. Apparently, Jared hopes to regain his celebrity hero status, which was lost when he announced that it was AIDS, not sub sandwiches, that caused him to lose weight.
But in actuality, he's referring to his hired fitness aides. So it's like a very funny joke as well.
Ladies and gentlemen, at first I didn't understand why you felt betrayed by the fact that my AIDS helped me to lose weight. But now I understand that it's because it isn't fair that I had AIDS and most of you don't. And so, with all the money I made from commercials, I have decided to start the AIDS for Everyone Foundation. What?
In 2003 at the Fiesta Bowl, Jared got to do the coin flip, which is one of the most prominent college football bowl games. So pretty giant W for Jared there. By the way, supposedly this happened. There's no video or photo evidence. Seeing is believing. We couldn't find that shit. In 2006, Mr. Fogel would also write a book called Jared the Subway Guy, Winning Through Losing 13 Lessons for Turning Your Life Around, which was highly rated by audiences. I've even got a copy. Just kidding. That was a lie. Point is, truly nothing that Jared can't accomplish. The guy's a absolute legend, and he's unstoppable for a time. Subway, also unstoppable. They saw massive success from the Jared commercials. So much success that he should have been part of the board, given some equity, something along those lines. This dude made Subway what it is. It kind of made it what it is today, sort of, I think. In 2004, Subway began to open up restaurants inside of Walmarts, eventually surpassing McDonald's stores within Walmarts, which for the mid-2000s, crazy. Furthermore, Subway saw more stores being opened and sales grow exponentially with the use of the Jared campaign. So they were both mutually benefiting from one another. Jared would eat the sandwich, and then the sandwich place would make the sandwich, and then a bunch of people would buy the sandwich because
Big
Jared
sandwich.
was eating the sandwich. Huge. Parasitic cycle of life. Parasitic cycle of life. From nothing came something. So through all this success, there were no signs of stopping or slowing down, and Jared brought Subway to be constantly ranked on the Entrepreneur Franchise 500 list since 2007, which is such a big deal. Such a big deal. I want to get on that list so bad. It's like Forbes 30 under 30. Oh, it means so much. I love it. Oh, yeah. Jared was a star, mainly of Subway commercials. Not a lot of video footage or evidence of him doing a lot of other stuff. Apparently did a lot of stuff, but it was the Subway commercials were the main thing, and this would last for years. Shortly after the release of Jared's first commercial, Subway released the You Remember Jared commercial, which was to remind the viewer of Jared's success and his special Subway diet that he invented. Not Subway, he. Not the Doctors Incorporated Association or whatever, but Jared, okay? It's so funny. I love that shit.
You remember Jared.
I used to be out to about here,
He weighed 425 pounds
and at least to here,
until he invented the Subway diet.
and now I'm like this.
Hey, Jared.
Hey, guys.
Congratulations, Jared. You're an inspiration to all of us.
And similarly to the Jared's Friends commercial, Subway would release another commercial talking about all the people who Jared had helped.
Remember Jared from Subway? He's inspired a lot of people.
And this seems like a common theme through most of Jared's early commercials, as they would continue to release subsequent commercials showcasing people who followed Jared's Subway diet and lost a bunch of weight. And they're like, remember Jared? Well, here he is again. And then they're like, check out all these people who remember Jared and followed the Subway diet and lost a bunch of weight. Look at their pants. Look at all these pants we got.
To help with Subway's low-fat sandwiches and exercise, summer's looking good for a lot of people.
Feeling good, having fun in the sun. Subway's taste is #1. Look at us now, we're living right, and we owe it to the man who showed us the light.
And how's Jared these days? He's looking better than ever.
That's all I can remember is that big set of pants he's got.
Now notice the shirt that they have him in is very, very concealing.
Better than ever.
That's all I can remember is that big set of pants he's got. I'd love to have a set of pants that much. How do pants that are that big cost the same as small pants? Answer me that riddle. That shit, they can't, the margin's gotta be razor thin. You're spending $45 on just material. It's so much cheaper to just buy giant pants than it is to buy blankets and shit. Just buy a bunch of giant clothes. I'm so frugally minded, I always buy Quad XL. It's rarely more expensive. If so, it's probably $2 more, but you get so much more fabric. I really, I recommend it. In a commercial that was released back in 2002, they showed a woman talking about Subway's Jared helping her lose weight. Pretty cool.
I'm feeling better and it makes me smile. Thanks to Subway's Jared, I have a whole new style.
That demonstrated the cultural impact that Jared's story had on the US. And it was quite a cultural difference. To evolve that general successful idea that they rehashed multiple times, the next kind of commercial that Subway would have Jared make is Jared praising Subway for their healthy ingredients and then shitting on Burger Joint. Wow, that's funny. Low, but funny.
No wonder so many people are leaving the burger joints and coming over to the great taste of Subway subs. Because when you really think about it, they don't make the sandwiches, you do. Subway, eat fresh.
During all this, Subway was still using their awesome parent company as a way to reform their healthy products well into 2004 and 5, which is so funny. How are they allowed to do that? You should be able to have the word. It's like saying a chiropractor's about. I mean, come on, man. It takes like a week to get that shit. That's easy. Not to shit on chiropractors, obviously, but a little bit. In a commercial from 2005, Jared specifically called out Burger King, the other fast food chain, for the amount of fat in their chicken sandwich compared to Subway's chicken sub.
It says here that a Burger King Tender Crisp chicken sandwich has 45 grams of fat. 45? This oven roasted chicken breast sandwich at Subway restaurants, it has 5 grams of fat. This is real chicken.
Are you allowed to just call people out? I feel like that's kind of rude. Just like, Burger King sucks and eats ass. And Subway likes Snatch and Wet Monkey Scalp. All right? Or whatever. I really don't know. It just seems like weird marketing. I don't know a lot about marketing. I really don't. I'm such an idiot. Jared then also wore a fat suit and ripped his flesh from his body to reveal the health effects of Subway sandwiches. Good move.
And I realized I could enjoy lots of great tasting food without lots of fat.
Another big part of Jared's campaign was traveling across America and spreading good eating habits to children. And this is when things start to get scary. Okay, guys? So far, when you watch the commercials, it's obvious that the main demographic is adults, and in many of the commercials, it shows adults who have lost weight following the Subway diet. What about children? Can they benefit from Jared Vogel's Subway diet? I'm sure Jared can benefit from children being able to benefit from his Subway diet. In 2004, Jared founded the Jared Foundation, a nonprofit organization which centered around combating childhood obesity through providing educational tools to schools and parents to help explain healthy eating habits and how to combat childhood obesity. A rising problem, a problem that still is rising to this very day. And I would agree, educational tools, that's number one. Educational tools, access, healthy food, those two things are massively important, and those two things are not that common. It's a huge problem. One without an easy solution. Thankfully, we've got Jared. As time went on and Jared gained more and more success, Subway was looking for more and more ways to branch out and reach even more people. They decided to send Jared on a quest across this great nation to have him visit elementary schools and high schools to talk to kids about eating healthy and, of course, purchasing those delicious, healthy Subway sandwiches. Jared would appeal to children by using his recognizable TV persona to teach them healthy eating habits. What a relatable guy. Look at his big pants.
One of the things I'd love to do is to come to schools like yours and speak to you guys, because I'll tell you what.
I'm sure he
we have a
does.
serious problem right now with kids your age putting on more and more weight than ever before.
Jared's appearances were so influential that they had faculty like the principal dress up in Subway merch to further entice the children to adhere to Jared's influence. He was the first big-time influencer, really, if you look at it in a kind of a narrow-minded, ignorant way. In Jared's speeches, he would always bring his pants, talk about how he lost the weight. I love those pants, dude. His pants are probably valuable. Getting some Jared pants, probably be pretty valuable at this point. If you had a vintage set of Jared pants, maybe it wouldn't be that valuable, because he's in jail. Another large talking point that Jared always covered was talking about how excessive video game usage is a problem and that kids should play outside.
Kids want to look good, they want to feel good. It's a matter of empowering them and saying, hey, you know what? If you do it, there's a few simple choices that you make every day that can make a big difference.
Video games are awesome. They uplift people. They bring people together. It's a social element to it. Everything is fine in moderation, Jared. The kids absolutely should play outside and touch grass. You know, probably more so. There's no need to moderate that. Should moderate video games more than you should moderate going outside and touching grass. Jared was such a rock star and a popular TV personality that he also made it into Morgan Spurlock's famous Super Size Me documentary, which we mentioned in the very beginning.
So without further ado, let's welcome Jared Fogle.
The spirit of Jared was specifically invoked by Super Size Me to relate to healthy
All
eating
of my gear is
initiatives.
broken.
Everything that he does
Damn
aligns
it.
with the main plot of the documentary, which talks about how unhealthy fast food, specifically McDonald's, was making America. He's a natural fit. I'm surprised they didn't have him do Super Size Me.
My big thing was never smoking, it was never drinking, obviously it wasn't doing drugs. My big vice was food.
So it seems like Jared's message had a positive effect on the youth of America. Having a famous TV personality and come to your school and talk to you would be a cool-ass experience for children. Plus, his messages were positive. They were generalized, basic information.
But he
that
shouldn't have been
anyone with a
around
functioning brain would
children.
know. However, it is
He
still
shouldn't have been
positive.
around
The
children.
definition of it is positive. And based on that clip from the Spurlock documentary, which I am hesitant to show because my whole video was claimed by them, and I was like, hey, this is fair use, you know, I feel like this is an additional commentary, and they're like, no, we'll take your video down if you say anything. So, hopefully they don't take my video, hopefully they don't watch this and take my video down. But it seems like from the Spurlock documentary that the girl that was interviewed liked what Jared had said, and she also recognized that what Jared did was expensive and not always possible based on your income because he's eating a lot of sandwiches from Subway, and it's expensive.
Because I can't afford to like go there every single day and buy a sandwich like 2 times a day. And that's what he's talking about, like that's the only solution.
And that's a point that Spurlock also highlighted by talking about how the prices of fast food are draining people's wallets, which is true and sad. And still, man, there's a crisis, a living crisis, cost of living. I wish I could give away my candy for free. I think about that a lot. Like, how much lower can I make the price? But we literally cannot. I need to raise the price of it. I will not, but I need to badly. Oh my God, it's so expensive to run a business and hard and scary. I wish I could just Jared Fogle it and be the spokesman. Just make a bunch of money and not have any skin in the game. But it seems like that's the way out, so I'm not gonna do that. So, things would take a turn for the worst in 2007 when Jared would visit a school and make some incredibly questionable remarks about some of the female students there. This would lead down a dark-ass road that would further on lead to the downfall of the Fogle Empire. Okay, guys? And kind of Subway in general as a brand. You can't really build your whole hang around one guy and then that guy get taken down and not take a bit of a hit yourself. Once again in 2007, bad year. Bad year for Jared overall. He would be on one of his tours where he would visit schools and talk to a bunch of children, and along the way he was interviewed by Rochelle, a Florida journalist, full name Rochelle Herman Walrond, but I don't like saying it, so I'm just gonna call her Rochelle. Rochelle was also a radio host who was looking to have a regular interview with a celebrity. And this time, Jared Fogle. Things would go awry, though, during their interview, and it would lead to a much larger stinkfest, a much bigger problem. For some reason, in the interview, Jared would allude to his sexual attraction to children, specifically middle schoolers, and Walrond, aka Rochelle, would have another interview shortly after the first where Jared would confirm that's what he said the first time that he was interviewed. From then on, Rochelle decided to follow Jared and wear a wire, as well as collect evidence through text messages and emails from Jared in regard to this disgusting revelation. She even recorded Jared saying that he wanted to S-word minors and having S-word with minors, and also asked if she would put a webcam in her own children's rooms, which is insane. Absolutely disgusting and insane. Blood-chillingly disgusting. Subway even admitted that a report was made to them by Rochelle in 2011, but they never did anything about it, probably because of the money that was rolling in. Probably most likely. That's usually where it falls back on. Where's the money lead? They're idiots. When Walrond reported all of this information to the FBI, they said that they couldn't do anything with it because they apparently needed more substantial evidence against Mr. Fogle in order to charge him or really pounce on him, which seems like a problem. They don't really like arresting rich, unfortunately. A very ironic little twist to this situation, you know, Jared escaping the FBI in spite of there being loads of evidence. About a year later, after Walrond came forward the first time, Jared gave commentary on an episode of To Catch a Predator. You know, the show where they catch predators, and in that episode he clowned on child predators for always coming back and getting caught. Wow, very ironic.
These guys continue to fall for it every single time. There must be like 100 million episodes of the show, and these guys still come out.
Jared would remain a free man with a clean record and continue to make commercials and talk with children.
He actually came here to talk to the kids today, and he's also helping out with the Oklahoma City Diet Weight Challenge.
And his career would continue to blow up, and his success would continue to move forward. Jared would also go on to make cameos and appear in movies. He was in Jack and Jill, one of the greatest movies ever made.
Really, it's fascinating. How does it work, Mr. Subway Sandwich? Just tell me more.
Just Jared's fine.
The TV show Community.
Okay. I should have written this out. I thought I'd be able to come up with something on the fly.
He made multiple cameos in the Sharknado movies, but was cut from Sharknado 3
Sharknado
after he was
3?
arrested. So, you know, common Jared L. He even continued to make Subway commercials up until 2015. And the following commercial is confirmed to be Jared's last commercial before ties were cut.
Hi, I'm Jared the Subway guy, and this is my story.
What's creepy about this commercial is that he talks about his own children and emphasizes helping children.
Guy now has 2 kids, and even more reason to pass on better eating habits to young people everywhere.
He's probably trying to cover up the fact that his initiative to help children is actually just an initiative driven by his mind. In July of 2015, the Indiana State Police and the FBI would arrive at Fogle's home and arrest him there.
It was quite a shock to see this. FBI and state police raiding Jared Fogle's mansion Tuesday.
He was arrested on charges of distribution and receipt of CP. Evil. Piece of shit. He should just be dead. Anyways, along with Jared being physically removed from the property, all of his electronic devices, computers, everything was removed and searched. And shortly after Jared's arrest, Subway would announce that they had cut ties with him and remove any trace of him from their branding or their websites. The Jared Subway.
It's not Subway's fault that he's a pederast.
So this was almost
that is not Subway's
what
fault.
What possibly could have changed in 10 years from what happened in 2007? What
he got a lot of
FBI
money.
Have now
he got a lot of money.
Before? How the did this slip through the cracks for such a long time? Someone so high profile should be investigated thoroughly, I'd say. I mean, it just makes sense. The guy has so much power and influence, you'd think that he would be the first one you would actually care about investigating, but I have no idea. I'm just an idiot YouTuber. Well, the big difference is that the FBI had continued to investigate Jared and everyone around him during that time, and they continued over time. This included people working in his charity, especially the executive director, Russell Taylor. Taylor was apprehended shortly before Fogel's arrest for similar charges. It was discovered that this guy had a child ring where he filmed with kids and 6 years old, and even his own stepdaughters. It's like, it is just unbelievable that there isn't like a quick answer to that problem. We have to. They're a burden on us. They're a burden on us taxpayers. Wild stuff. Anyways, this guy Taylor, the executive director of Jared's foundation, was distributing this to Jared and the computers from within Taylor's home. They found a link to Jared and vice versa. It's absolutely disgusting. Taylor was sentenced to 27 years in prison on 7 counts of production of CP and 1 charge of possession. As soon as Taylor's arrest went public, Jared and his foundation tried to save face and act surprised about the allegations brought up against the executive director. They what? That's so bad. Come on, bro. It eventually caught up to Jared. Justice never rests. Karma is real. You will die in flames at the end. You will die. All the people you hurt will act as character witnesses. At the end, you will die. Repent. Repent. Furthermore, our old friend Rochelle's evidence was being reused in this case, the new case against Fogel, and after their first interaction in 2007, she would continue to wear a wire and be an unofficial FBI informant, which is badass. Rochelle is a legend. In court, the FBI never specifically said that Walren's accounts were being used. However, it was clear that they were using her recordings. So, pretty cool. The case got even deeper and more disturbing when the FBI subpoenaed texts between Jared and a Subway franchisee named Cindy Mills in 2008. In these texts, Jared would actually talk about his pet, and he also had a relationship with a franchisee, which is insane. Bro's a freak. With this whole interaction, Jared even went as far as to pressure Mills into posting herself and her 60-year-old cousin on Craigslist looking for. So Jared was a freak all around. Freak ass freak. What the f***'s wrong with this guy? Fortunately, Mills never went through with it, but this information was still revealed through the subpoenaed texts. There's even more, though, that makes this whole thing even worse. Jared's ex-wife said that Subway knew of Jared's interests as early as 2004, but didn't want to kill the hype and profits that Jared was bringing in at the time, which is crazy if true. That Doctors Association, man, they should have looked into it.
Big sandwich.
Investigation was blowing up and going public. Walren would go on Dr. Phil, where she shared the recorded phone calls between her and Jared. Massive, giant episode of Dr. Phil. The tapes were shown on all sorts of television outlets. CBS This Morning, CBS New York. With Jared's own voice being shared publicly to push forward this true narrative that the man is a predator, he had been successfully exposed to the entire world, and the whole world turned on him immediately. Rightfully so. Jared pled guilty to 1 count of distribution and receipt to CP and 1 count of traveling to engage in illicit conduct with a minor. He was sentenced to serve 15 years and 8 months in prison. Should be more, I feel like, because it's probably, there's more information. If he knew about this, he had a child. I mean, this is crazy. Should be like forever and ever, probably, because he fully approved of the work that Russell Taylor was doing, including soliciting minors, and he agreed to help receive and distribute all this stuff. Just absolutely disgusting. These guys were working in cahoots with one another. They should both be in jail forever or be buried under the jail or whatever you want to say. I don't really know. I don't want to get like angry, really, but like, you know, worthless pieces of shit. Jared also agreed to pay about $100,000 to each of his victims, and in total that would amount $1.4 million. I don't know how much money
14
he's worth, though.
victims.
Probably more than that. So I think they should Alex Jones him and just bankrupt him and take all his money.
Yeah, why not?
Use it for, take all his assets, his money, everything. Use it for good. Jared is also now required to register for the Sex Offenders Registry and undergo psychiatric evaluation. From his examination, it was concluded that Jared had successfully replaced his lust for food, big pants, with a hypersexuality and desire for minors, which is weird. Because of this, Jared now has to have officers present when he visits his own children in prison, when his own children come to visit him. This guy is a giant loser. After he pled guilty, even his old high school removed his picture from their Alumni Hall of Fame, which is legendary. Jared would be initially held in Henderson County, Kentucky, before being transferred to the Federal Correctional Institution in Englewood, Colorado. A little funny note I mentioned at the beginning, we're closing up the story here. Jared Fogle and Daniel Larson are now both being housed at FCI.
Jared Fogle and Daniel Larson are both being housed at fucking Englewood. Fucking Englewood. Where is that prison? It's like right down fucking 285 to like fucking to like it's out there towards Golden. I think it's on 285 and it's like 285 and Sims or something. I forget where that prison is. It's kind of funny. But that's my hood. Daniel Larson and him are in the same jail.
As
fucking cartoon characters, man.
May 31st, 2024. They could literally be cellmates and see each other on a regular basis. That's
fucking weird.
Crazy. Two pedos loving each other. Since his incarceration, Jared has had numerous lawsuits levied against him from parents of victims that have sued him for personal injury and emotional distress. It's pretty awesome. Hopefully they win all those. I think they've won a lot of them. Now on to something really funny that we can all join in unison to laugh at Jared because of this. In 2017, he had a fellow inmate put together a case stating that himself, Jared Fogle, his trial was wrong because Fogle was a sovereign citizen, a traveler, if you will. Have you seen those videos? A sovereign citizen. I am a sovereign citizen of the United States of America. I am allowed to lose copious amounts of weight using the Subway diet and then create a foundation for children and then become a... So yeah, that's pretty stupid. And Jared's most recent interaction with the media was in 2021, where he had an interview with the New York Post in which he basically stated, literally, he said, I really screwed up to wind up where I am right now. I very much look forward to restarting my life and enjoying every moment with my family who have stood by.
Yeah, right.
Oh,
Why?
Yeah, right?
Why did your family
Is that
stick
right?
by?
Sick, disgusting. So, in conclusion, Jared Fogle had the world at his fingertips, and it turned out he was a piece of shit. A massive, gigantic piece of shit. He was viewed as America's sweetheart. Maybe a little extra loose skin, a little extra skin around the sides. Big pants every now and then. People loved Jared. People loved his message. However, his lust for food was replaced with a lust for something illegal. And eventually the skeletons would come pouring out of the closet. Subway and their empire they built with Jared came crumbling down as well. Came pouring down like a bunch of skeletons. Anyways, not a big fan of Subway, not a big fan of Jared. Anyways, thanks for watching.
No, stop trying to play Hollywood movies. They're going to get me DMCA'd. Out. Revitalized water, Grundwasser. Oh, there's a new Barons or Warrens. I mean, 8800 Blue Lick Road. Okay.
On seasonably warm night.
This is a 5-hour fucking podcast. Okay.
Chat, I know most of you aren't here yet, so I won't say anything.
Yeah, all right, fair enough. I guess we'll just chat.
That's the thought process. Right. So, how's the video been going? It's doing well and everything. You want to talk about that for a sec?
No, it's my second best performing video so far, only behind the Wings of Redemption video.
It should be. It deserves it. It's fucking fantastic. It's such a great job, man.
Thank you.
The hard work paid off.
It was a lot of work.
Yeah, I still keep thinking about the fact that you guys wrote a song. You guys wrote and an awesome song. Like there was a song with vocals. Like it was like a Sonic the Hedgehog game. It was awesome. It was a full experience.
That's what I've been aspiring to all my life, is to make something that can be compared to the quality of the 3D Sonic game.
Well, listen, okay, your Deep Blue video. It's no Sonic 06, but it's pretty good. Guys, thanks for coming tonight. It's good to see you all. Astrika wants me to explain the Twitter AVI? Avatar. I keep forgetting that doesn't stand for anything. No, it's that's from 2012, I think, or 2011. It's a very old photo. But there was a point. I had those cornrows for a very brief period. I'll have you know. And it was more of a it was less that I wanted to do it because I thought it was a good look, and it was more about me and my sister. My sister did it for me. We were like, we can do this.
We can do this.
Kind of her.
Yeah, let's do this.
Let's do this.
You know, let's just do it, like for shits and giggles. Anyway, if you don't know who this is, that's weird, because you should. It's Fred Newsom. He's back again.
I didn't get enough the last time.
He's the third or fourth member of the DK crew. You think he?
I'm like lanky. I'm lanky Kong.
You think he certainly would have learned by now and stopped coming as a guest on this channel? Bittersweet Devil. Bammy, thanks for 28 months. I'm confused about why my 75 minutes of relaxing and calming Nintendo music compilation is not playing anything. It's actually making me fucking mad. Is this a problem with my internet? What is this? Notice how I'm the opposite of relaxed and calm because of this? It says 75 minutes of relaxing and calming Nintendo music compilation. Okay, we were less than 3 minutes into the broadcast and I'm already pissed off. I'm not relaxed or calm.
Nope.
Toxic Avenger. Thank you for 48 months. Wait, you hear the music?
Yeah, I hear it.
Did you hear it a second ago, though, when I was hearing nothing?
No, I know, but I hear it now.
Bizarre.
I turned it up to make sure that I can hear it.
Alright, well, there's music. Alright, let's hope it doesn't get me muted. I don't want to... I also, you know, I think we gotta have something going on. Don't play Nintendo music, you will get DMCA. No, the last time I did this, that didn't happen. Before we get started and talk about why we're here, I want to say thank you to 2 people. Not actually, it's a lot of people, which you can figure out what I mean in a second. First, I want to say thank you to chat for being so patient with me, especially this week. I know streams have been few and far between, but that's because I'm having this medical issue with, I guess, my nerves in my neck. One of the discs in my neck is fucked up, and I'm just in so much pain, guys, and I wanted to apologize for the lack of content as I work through this and try to heal. But yeah, instead, I just sat around and did a lot of doom scrolling. Secondly, I actually want to thank Fred for being a bro this week, because on the other day, what was it? When did we do that? Tuesday?
We did that. Let me think.
Tuesday.
So I launched the yeah, it must have been Tuesday.
It was Tuesday. Between Tuesday and today, Fred's been helping me out by being a buddy, and it's just easier to stream with people, I think. Not that I dislike doing it alone, but when you stream with somebody, it just feels less exhausting when you're doing it with another person. So Fred, I wanted to thank you for that, man. Thank you for taking some of the load, for sharing the load. Sharing the load.
Share the load.
Frodo.
Share the load.
Share the load.
No, it's. I mean, I just like hanging out with you, and if I get the chance to
he's a good
hang
kid.
out with you
He's funny.
on stream, sure.
Why not?
I love kind of like
yep.
There's not a ton of distinction. You know
Reminds me of my friends.
It's like I hang out with you. Like, yeah, of course, you know, we're paying attention to things, we're responding to chat, but I just like spending time with you. So it's really nice. It's really nice that we get to do that.
I love
you guys should
spending time
kiss,
with you, buddy. But it's I want everybody to know that it also does this other thing for me, you know what I mean? Where it's like you're actually helping my life be easier and suck less by hanging out with me and doing this with me. I think that's a big deal, and I just want to suck your dick a little bit about it. Is that okay?
Yeah, go ahead. We'll hop in Animal Crossing so we can get the real thing.
The real thing in Animal Crossing New Horizons. Guys, this is 8800 Blue Lick Road. It's a listing for a house that's currently for sale in Louisville, Kentucky. Is it Louisville or Louisville? How do you pronounce it? Louisville. It's definitely, you're not pronouncing it.
Louisville.
That'd be stupid. It's like Illinois. Louisville, Kentucky. And this has been making the rounds on the internet the past couple of weeks because there's a bunch of pictures and it's really bizarre. You've seen me go apeshit over like weird. I think the last time we looked at one of these, it was the house that had the sand on the floor, chat. I don't remember what the address for that place was, but that house was fucked up. We say it looked like an Animal Crossing house. This one's a little bit different. But some people have called this the... let me get this up on screen for you here. They've called it the game of the year.
Best interactive game of, like, it's like an interactive experience. I'd like to point out, by the way, GPM brought this up in chat. He's here. Hi,
What's up, Alex? Good to see you, man.
Geeps. I just hung out with him in VR chat for a little while, and that was really fun.
Did you guys
on the
dock?
Stream. Yes.
Fucking rad. All right, I'm gonna have to catch the VOD.
No, that's like the best thing you can do in VR chat. But we also just watched a weird video.
I see a cat right there. There's a cat in that carrier. There's a cat. A walk-in bathtub.
So apparently, and I've seen video of it, this house has been ported into VR chat.
Nice.
And GPM, I don't know if you've done it on stream, but if you do that, I'd 100% be willing to come in and look at this thing with you, even after this stream.
Well, it looks...
Okay, you have done it. Okay.
It seems to me
Played hide
like...
and seek in it?
I haven't seen the house yet, so I don't know how impressive or cool that is. But it does occur to me that the person who was going to translate this to VR chat would have had to have had an incredible amount of attention paid to detail. Because what little I have seen of this, I think there's a hoarding situation going on here. Can we get that out of the way early?
So,
No, I don't think this is hoarding at all. No.
Actually have a response to that. I know what it is.
I don't think so.
Apparently, this house is used to resell shit.
Objects.
Like
items.
this person has a reselling business on eBay.
Oh, this isn't like their house, or they
No,
do
it's
live
also-
here,
no,
but
it
it
is
doubles
also their
as
house.
it doubles as right. Okay.
As a storage
This
locker.
is also their house.
You know,
it is both.
I grew up with somebody who their parents worked for a party supply company, and it was a weird company. They did a fucking. They were like a jack of all trades. They did a bunch of different things, and they would sell a bunch of weird, random, disjointed merchandise that didn't have anything to do with each other. And his house was always filled with wacky shits, like fucking, like Hello Kitty pencil toppers for no reason all over the place, and things like that. You know, like fucking Ninja Turtles blankets and shirt, Power Rangers
At
merch,
some point,
pencil
you ask
cases,
yourself,
piles and piles of it.
At some point, you ask yourself, is it worth it to make money doing this if that's the environment you have to live in?
Because now it's coming down to
It doesn't bother me. This does not look bad to me.
like the quality.
Looks like a busy corner. That's about it, though. Nice.
Of your life, right?
Exactly.
Like this is now impacting your actual where you live, where you eat, sleep, breathe, have your life, presumably.
Right.
I mean, hey, you're saving money on office space, I guess.
I guess, but like again, you know, is it worth the money? Like, think about the opportunity cost in dollars.
Yeah, it usually is. It definitely wasn't for my friend's parents. And I mean, it was just like decades fucking late because none of this merchandise ever moved, or when they did move, they'd move it in very small increments, and they eventually took like 20 years, but they did eventually get a storage space for this type of shit. This person is in the same kind of industry. I know because the house actually looks similar. But it was just the breadth of the weird fucking shit that they would accrued over like 30 years of doing it.
Right.
Especially like seeing all these weird disparate like IPs from the 90s just hanging out and being like, what's that doing here? Why do you still have that? Why haven't you thrown that out? Oh, well, it costs money to buy it. Well, nobody's gonna buy it now.
Right. Like, it's the sunk cost fallacy, right?
Exactly. Yeah. Nobody cares about the Power Rangers anymore. Well, I think there's new Power Rangers. But that's the type of thing that we're looking at here, right? Chat, I want to bring special attention to... Oh, I guess I should bring special attention to the fact that we're still raising money for Movember.
This is good, but it's kind of boring me. Oh, God. Excuse me. Ooh, frontline PBS from 8 hours ago. Cool. Yeah, domestic government surveillance in the George Bush era. That's good. Sounds good. Thank you, Frontline PBS, for the excellent content for my stream. I'd like to sub to your channel. I love the PBS.
Tonight on Frontline.
Everybody's a suspect. And if
I'll be right back. Just gonna get something to eat. Okay.
it won't bother you. And if you look a little strange, then you might get on a watch list.
A permanent war against a hidden enemy.
The president turned to me and said, never let this happen again.
A new strategy of prevention.
You have to cast the net a bit more broadly.
And new perils to privacy.
It is inevitable that totally innocent Americans are going to be affected by these programs.
Correspondent Hedrick Smith looks into the government's secret surveillance efforts here at home.
We're talking about a wholesale diversion of communications to government control.
Oh, that's what they're doing. This is a spy apparatus.
And explores the new era of prevention, hunting them by watching us.
It seems to be like the beginning of we're going to treat everyone like a bad guy.
And that applies to everything. Telephone records, financial records. How much security do you want, and how many rights do you want to give up? Tonight on Frontline, spying on the home front.
Las Vegas. It was the week before New Year's 2004 when Steven Sprouse and Kristen Douglas flew in from Kansas City to get married.
Steven always wanted to get married in Vegas. It was sort of a joke.
Steven and Kristen exchanged vows in front of friends, family,
Ladies and gentlemen, it's showtime.
and Elvis.
You come in and you're thinking, okay, I'm going to get married, and then, you know, Elvis comes down the aisle. Then you're kind of up there, and all of a sudden you're thinking, wow, I'm really getting married.
Kristen, I give you this ring.
And they're doing the vows, and you're like, oh, this is for real.
You may kiss your bride.
And then you're singing.
Aww.
And then you're singing Viva Las Vegas.
Vegas
But in
themed
fact,
wedding, huh?
Things in Vegas weren't looking so good.
Uh-oh.
There was disturbing news.
Tom Ridge was on national TV, and, you know, he said, hey, there's 3 cities that, you know, we got to really pay attention to: Washington, D.C., New York, and Las Vegas. And, whew, you know, when that happens, then the whole eyes of the world come on you.
U.S. intelligence from overseas has prompted an elevated alert.
I remember this.
On Saturday, December 20th, I was contacted by someone from our terrorism division at FBI headquarters. The information that I received was that Al-Qaeda could have an interest in Las Vegas, possibly over the New Year's weekend.
That's it.
That's it.
No names, no targets.
No targets identified, no threat articulated, no plot uncovered.
New Year's Eve is a security nightmare for the cops, who see it as a tempting target for terrorists.
Sorry.
Thousand people on the streets, on Las Vegas Boulevard, in front of all these beautiful hotels, waiting for the clock to strike midnight and all the fireworks to go off, and that was what the intelligence information indicated, that that was, you know, the type of area or venue that they were going to try to target. Here was the real dilemma: do we cancel our New Year's Eve celebration in Las Vegas? That was the question being placed on me.
When you're out there, that's when you kind of notice that you don't see any of the planes flying, and you see helicopters off in the distance kind of circling around. That's when it kind of seemed a little weird, seemed a little odd.
Yeah, it was a little creepy.
Yeah.
The clock was ticking. Just 11 days till New Year's. They needed to act fast.
We spoke almost an hourly basis at times with our own headquarters, with the Department of Justice, to try to determine if there were terrorist operatives in Las Vegas or preparing to come to Las Vegas.
Who's in Las Vegas? Can we find out who's in Las Vegas today and who's going to be here over the New Year's Eve weekend? Is there the potential that a Muhammad Atta is staying at the Economy Lodge again?
The feds called in security chiefs of the major hotels and casinos and asked for help, but much different help from usual. When Ellen Knowlton, the FBI agent in charge in Las Vegas at the time in December 2003, came to all the casinos and said, "We want all your records." How does that hit you?
To my knowledge, no one has ever made a request that is as broad as "we want all of your records," or no one had prior to that.
The hotel records, the airline records, the rental car records, the gift shop records, the casino records. When you're talking about all those records, you're talking about hundreds of thousands of people, particularly during this 2-week period.
And they did them all. They did them all.
Casino executives resisted, said they did not want to turn over the information. There was, according to published reports, a lot of arm twisting, a lot of intimidation.
It was an extraordinary step. It really was. We were asking for records for the single purpose of making comparisons. We were not asking for records that would become incorporated into the FBI
Bullshit.
files.
Bullshit.
Records for everybody who was here.
As many as we could obtain, yes.
So you're talking hundreds of thousands of people.
It was very, very, very
thorough.
voluminous, yes.
As a citizen, I was very troubled by it. As an executive with this company, I was very troubled by it. You know, prior to this, we had dealt with the notion of here's a list of people whom we suspect are doing bad things or have the potential to do bad things. To simply say, you know, it's a matter of national security, we need to know the name of every single person checking into your hotel at any given
Wow.
moment. That's
I got my car towed once at the American Motel in Colorado. Worst motel in Colorado, by the way. The biggest motel. It's really big, but it's like the worst motel in Colorado. Don't ever stay in the American Motel. You might get robbed or murdered or crackheaded or something. It's look at the picture that they've got here. It's some kind of, like, I don't know why the view's great. You know, where it's situated is really wonderful. It's on the frontage road at I-70 in fucking Kipling, I think. Is it Kipling? Yeah, something like Kipling, I think. And anyways, I was staying in this motel with my ex-girlfriend. And they towed my car for no reason that I had been renting for hire car. And the only reason they towed my car was because I had parked a nice looking rental car at the American Motel. And so I like freaked out, and I was like, I saw them towing it away, and I went running out to the parking lot, but I was too late, and they drove off with this fucking car. I was like, what? And and I asked the concierge or whatever you want to call it, the hotel front desk staff, like, why did they tow my fucking car? My car is legal. There's no problem. And he was like, well, a lot of drug dealers and ne'er-do-wells and prostitutes and such steal rental cars. And so for some reason, well, not for some reason, but the cops come through. He told me, he was like, the cops come through here 3 times a day, and they check all the plates in the motel parking lot. And if they don't like what they see, they just tow it. And I was like, oh my God, you know how much money this cost me? It was a totally legitimate car. No reason. It was like fucking, I think it was like $450 or something like that. I was like, what the fuck? Out of nowhere. And all I did was like park at a motel. That was it. And they just full-blown towed my goddamn rental car for no reason. And I don't know if you've ever had, that was the second rental car I've ever had towed. And trust me, you don't ever want a rental car towed. It's like $1,000. It's not cheap. They rekey the car and all this. It's terrible. And I'll never come to this motel ever again. And that was so, that was like the straw that broke the camel's back on my life when I lost that car. It was like the last time that my life was good, really, until now. And all I did was park at the American Motel. That was it. And that's an example of surveillance that just the local pigs might engage in, you know?
Seems extremely unusual, and I think extremely troubling.
Did you feel like you were doing something unprecedented?
In a way, yeah.
Yeah, it's called the violation of 300,000 people's civil liberties and union, and rights. It's an ACLU fucking like debacle. The ACLU should have taken your hats. They should have sued you for everything you got. You violated the rights of 300,000 Americans. You're disgusting. You're the problem. You're the corruption. You're the deep state. You're disgusting. You shouldn't have done that. All in the name of that Osama bin Laden lie. You violated the civil rights of 300,000 fucking people and like just dumped their data, you know? Your own citizens? That's the American government that I know. Yeah, that's what I'm used to. Yeah. It's all that Dark Knight, cell phone thing. Palantir. Pegasus. Fucking annoying. I broke my... Annoying. This gun does way more damage than it has any right to. In terms of its... I mean, it is an LMG. I guess it has a lot of damage. But it's too accurate for how fucking much damage and how big the mag is. And how much the damage is. What's this then?
Us whatsoever.
Trust us, we're the government, and if you're not up to no good, why should you care? That's not the way our system works. We are a country that is founded on a set of principles relating to individual freedom, including our privacy, our right to be left alone by the government.
Yep.
9/11 indelibly altered America in ways that are now being seriously questioned.
Deliberate and deadly attacks which were carried out yesterday against our country were more than acts of terror. They were acts of war.
A new paradigm of war spawned a new strategy.
Report to Brotherhood Leadership.
Of preemption.
When the president turned to me within hours, really, after 9/11, a day or so, and said, in my direction anyhow, never let this happen again. Now, not letting something happen is different than proving something happened. The old business of the Justice Department to be able to prosecute the criminal and declare victory is not good enough when you lose 3,000 people and the criminals purposefully extinguish themselves in the perpetration of the crime. Prevention means disrupting a scenario before it actually all comes together.
The new paradigm of prevention carried a new peril. Innocent people will get caught in the dragnet.
When you talk about prevention, you're saying to people, well,
you can't just focus on one person. You have to cast the net a bit more broadly, and you have to start to work with situations where you're going to collect a lot of data.
Prism.
And then try to connect the
Pegasus.
dots.
Prism.
But that means you're going to collect a lot of data, and that means you're going to end up holding
Prism.
a lot of
Pegasus.
data about ordinary people who have nothing to do with your threat.
That sounds pretty intrusive.
It is.
Tonight, Big Brother, the uproar over a secret presidential order giving the government unprecedented powers to spy on America.
Surveillance inside the U.S. without court orders.
It was a bombshell. The National Security Agency engaged in warrantless eavesdropping inside the United States. The New York Times story broke on December 16, 2005. But spying on the home front had begun in the shadow of 9/11. And there was more going on than the Times story revealed. Congress erupted in protest.
Mr. President, it is time to have some checks and balances in this country. We are a democracy.
It's inexcusable to have spying on people in the United States without court surveillance in violation of our law, beyond any question.
This was enormous news. When the New York Times told us about the NSA wiretap program, for people like me, it was as though there was this alternate universe. We had thought we had a legal system and we knew what the moves were, and it turns out that the NSA was doing something entirely outside of that.
In the Cold War, NSA's mission was to collect communications intelligence on enemies abroad. Except in very rare cases, its cardinal rule was hands off Americans at home.
NSA was looked at more as the nuclear weapon for eavesdropping. Much too powerful to use domestically. It was never set up to use domestically.
But they did.
Something that was put into your bloodline from the very
Prison
beginning.
Project. Do you know how long I've been telling people this? Like goddamn 14 years. 14 years since 2010. I've been saying it. I used to say it on my Facebook. I used to be like, in 2010, the NSA dumped the Prison Project out of Facebook and all this and got all of our pictures, all of our DMs, all of our photos, all of our info, all of our information, all of our GPS, and all of our fucking data. And I was like, do not trust Facebook. Do not trust the government. Do not trust the NSA. Do not trust the Prison Project. I used to say this stuff on my Facebook and shit like that. I used to be like, I'll tell anybody who cares to listen. In 2010, they forced Zuck to dump to dump all of Facebook into the Prison Project. Between Palantir, Prism, Pegasus, the Octopus murders, and all this other stupid shit that I just don't even want to sound like some crazy crackhead in like out of the fucking, woodwork or whatever. I don't want to sound like some crazy fucking, conspiracy theorist and all this. But I mean, like, they've been done doing this shit since 2010. We've been done knowing it. I've been done knowing this,
Thought that it was not part
I've
of
been done knowing this for 14 years. You guys act like you're surprised. You're like, we're really starting to understand how bad they've been now. And I'm like, Jesus fucking Christ, you let 14 years go by. Does it even matter anymore? You let 14 years go by since they did this, And then you let another 10 years go since before that, since 9/11. You've let 24 years go by since 9/11. You're not going to do anything, just like the CIA when the CIA killed fucking JFK. We're going to let 70 years go by and do nothing about it whatsoever. We're never going to do anything about this. So now I'm like, okay, well, yeah, you put it in the fucking news in 2024. You finally start to wake up and you're like, yeah, we can't trust our government. To me, waking up has nothing to do with some sex thing or some gender thing or some fucking, some fucking class role thing or anything like that. And waking up, becoming woke is understanding that you can't trust your government. You wake up one day and you understand that there's a deep state and there's all these problems, and it's so stupid. And it's not even like what's the word? It's not like a concerted push either. It's just a bunch of ne'er-do-well, bad actor people just fucking with our lives. It's not even very, very like concerted, So I'm just like, okay, well, cool. We all knew this in 2010, and you act like this shit's new. Frontline PBS acts like this shit is new. It's fucking weird.
The NSA mission.
Bizarre, frankly. Like, my friends who didn't even like this sort of shit knew about this shit since 2010. Like, is this really that new to you fucking guys? I guess it is, because you need evidence and a court case and precedents and all this other stuff. It's new to you to realize that they've been violating our fucking civil rights and sending us to jail for non-violent fucking drug offenses and getting all up in our fucking cell phones and DMs and shit since 2001. Since the Patriot Act. Like, you seem to love this Republican Party. I don't understand you. Like, they brought in the Patriot Act and killed everything we loved. You know? They ushered in 9/11 and COVID and all this shit. Like, I don't understand you guys. Who pushed Patriot Act? That was a George Bush classic. That was a Bush family classic. Patriot Act. It was the death of our fucking freedom. Death of our freedom at a fucking, traitor's hands. You want to back that Republican piece of shit?
Under very exceptional and...
Go on with your Jafar-loving, Pol Pot-loving ass. With your excusionist bullshit. Go on and fucking excuse these assholes.
Legally approved circumstances.
George Bush.
To be involved with you.
You know what I think when I think George Bush? The word killer.
U.S. communications.
But with one sweeping secret order, President Bush had changed all that.
As President and Commander-in-Chief, I have the constitutional responsibility and the constitutional authority to protect our country. So consistent with U.S. law and the Constitution, I authorize the interception of international communications of people with known links to Al-Qaeda.
The president minimized the risk to Americans. His eavesdropping program, he said, was very narrowly targeted, with one party outside the U.S.
You mean Palantir? Or, Pegasus? Fucking Promise? You guys ever heard of Promise? You think I'm making it up? You think I'm making this all up? I'm crazy? No.
It's a spy scandal that's already rocked the White House. An intrigue that could threaten the presidency of George Bush.
Promise. It's the Prosecutor's Management Information System. They made fun of it in Batman Dark Knight. It connects all the cell phones on the wall and shit. It connects all of the country's court documents so that they can get a dossier on all the criminals in the country. But it also just ended up being Palantir. Promise ended up being Pegasus. Pegasus ended up being Palantir. I mean, all this stuff you hear about, like deep state fucking like surveillance and shit, in the fucking the spies and all this, the drunks. I think of them as the drunks. L. Ron Hubbard called them the CIA, the drunks, and I think of them like that too, because you'd have to be drunk to act like that, Like fucking, and like, yeah, the drunks, that's what I think of them as the drunks. And so the drunks got a hold of Promise, and they fucked a good American, honest, nerdy businessmen out of their fucking Inslaw Promise software, which is the Prosecutor's Management Information System. And they took it and they ran with it, and they spied on all the world governments, and they used it to do insider trading and stuff to fund their deep state. And now it's morphed into a company called Palantir. And if you don't know these things, I mean, these are matter of fact. These are not Skycat's a crazy conspiracy theorist just spewing shit out of his ass. These I am speaking about. These are well-known public institutions. Inslaw, Promise, Palantir. Palantir is about having an NVIDIA moment, the way that NVIDIA like got crazy over AI, made a lot of money over the 4090 and all this. Like the Palantir is about to have a really crazy moment too. Yeah, Palantir hits $26 today. A good investment is Palantir. They can't go wrong. I mean, unless they commit some kind, I mean, unless the government goes after them for breach of trust or some such, or stealing, or kibitzing with criminals and such, I don't think Palantir is going anywhere. I think they're going to be one of the really bad world forces that we're going to have to fight and stuff. And I think, Palantir is a really negative, evil thing, kind of like Sauron or something like that. I think it's one of the reasons why they're so plainly named Palantir. And I think they're very evil. Yep, how Palantir and its data mining. It's a data mining empire. They sell the information to the world governments. It's an incredible scam. It's I'm sorry, it's not a scam. It's legitimate business. It's a legitimate business, Palantir is about to have an Nvidia moment, but most investors will miss it. I believe in this one. I'm gonna go load this video.
I believe that Palantir, for the few who actually understand this, is gonna make people extremely wealthy. Now, here's the point. Despite the newfound fame, despite the fact that the stock did 160% over the past 4 years, despite it being up 44% just in the past 6 months, Palantir is nowhere close to even scratching the surface of its true potential. And it's gonna make a lot.
And I'm just gonna share this with my family and stuff so they have an idea. Wait, sorry, I'm just sending something to somebody. I'm sorry.
Palantir is gonna make a lot of people rich. Now here's the thing. This stock was absolutely obscure in 2019. Then 2020 comes in, the stock goes public, and the whole meme action takes it to the moon. Everybody's now talking about it. It drops back to the floor. People forget about it. Now it's up again, so people are talking about it again. But this is absolutely irrelevant. I believe that Palantir, for the few who actually understand this, is going to make people extremely wealthy. Now, here's the point. Despite the newfound fame, despite the fact that the stock did 160% a lot of people really sorry for not looking into this on time. Now, there's a few people who actually understand the stock, and the community is growing, and I'm happy about it. But the vast majority just doesn't get it. Now, hopefully this video opens up.
They're about to understand that they can sell information to world governments. These people are about to become the world government's information broker.
Here to a wider audience, which is at the end of the day what I've been doing on my channel. That's why some people call me the Palantir guy. By some people I mean my mom, but that's a whole different video. Now look, right now Palantir has 3 businesses that I want to talk about today. Gotham, which is the government business, very little known, but if you look at the numbers, extremely lucrative. On the other hand, we have Foundry. Now Foundry is the commercial business. Foundry and Gotham used to be the only core business of Palantir that actually
My phone
mattered.
died.
Now, of the past year and a half, we have seen AIP emerge
No, you're just not turning on.
completely out of the underground and take over both of them. Right now, AIP, the new game changer for Palantir, is going to be bigger than both of them combined, because AIP is the future of Palantir. Don't look at this current 21% revenue growth year over year. This is irrelevant. This is before the explosion. That 21% is meaningless. If I'm right about this, that 21% is going to look like child's play in just a little while. You gotta have patience. Like Tom Lee said, every great idea needs patience. Nothing happens overnight. Now, look, if I just kind of boil it down to one simple explanation, AIP is just the operating system of every single large language model companies use out there. As you've seen over the past year and a half, ever since the launch of ChatGPT, the whole large language models, LLM, has become the new common. Every single company now understands that in order to do business, they have to have an LLM, an AI-based operating system. The problem is that a lot of these are convoluted. A lot of data doesn't match. There's a big chaotic mess. Now, Palantir comes out with AIP is the equivalent of Microsoft coming out with Windows, something to operate the hardware. We have all the NVIDIA stuff right now running up like crazy because people understand that everybody wants an NVIDIA chip, an NVIDIA server base. Now, the whole thing about AIP and Foundry and Palantir is that people still haven't gotten that Palantir and AIP is literally the software side of the NVIDIA hardware side of the AI operation. The whole thing here is very, very simple. NVIDIA now is well understood, so people are piling into it like crazy. On the other hand, while the hardware stuff is clearly owned by NVIDIA quasi-monopolistic way, the other side, which is the software side, which is already being kind of owned by Palantir and it's getting stronger by the day, that hasn't been priced in yet. The current market price of Palantir definitely shows a premium. Sure, I mean, every great company runs on a premium, that's fine. But the current pricing does not reflect the understanding that AIP is the equivalent of the NVIDIA Blackwell chip, let's put it, or the H200, doesn't matter. Software, hardware, or rather hardware, software. Now, it's very simple. Once people understand that, and it might take a few quarters, maybe a year or two, they're gonna pile into Palantir just like they did into NVIDIA. By that point, it's gonna be too late for you to get in on time. Very, very simple. Now, obviously, I'm not telling you to buy Palantir or any other company. I'm just explaining my thesis and my own personal opinion. I'm not giving you investment advice here. Now look, I know that the CEO of